All right, guys. So we are going to be making roasted garlic mashed potatoes. And our plan for today was actually for us to pre-cut all of our potatoes and let them sit in cold water overnight so that we could get moving a little bit quicker tomorrow. So my plan, because I'm not here today, is I'm going to be actually signing up individuals for Compass tomorrow. So I'm going to be looking at Lab 2, because we are going to be following Lab 2 for our jobs. And I'm going to be signing up either the head chef or the assistant chef as long as they aren't signed up for Compass elsewhere. And they're going to go ahead and come in during Compass, peel the potatoes, dice them, and have them ready to go for when you guys come into class. So that way you'll be able to go ahead and get those potatoes boiling right away when you come in tomorrow, which will go ahead and speed things up for you overall and let you guys not be so rushed, because this is typically a lab where it's like bell to bell and a lot of groups are still cleaning up after the bell rings and rushing kind of out of there. So we're going to go ahead and kind of pre-cut our potatoes so that way we move a little bit quicker and not have that such rush going on during the lab tomorrow. So as I said, we're going to follow Lab 2 for jobs. So make sure we look at our chore chart, fill out the correct jobs of who is head chef, assistant chef, host, and waiter. And then we are going to go ahead and fill out all of our ingredients. Okay, we are actually only going to be using 3 potatoes, not 4. So whoever is waiter, you should be filling out those ingredients in the first column. We're going to need 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. We're going to get 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 3 potatoes, which will already be pre-cut for us from our head and assistant chef. We're going to get 4 tablespoons of butter and 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream. And then the salt and the pepper, I would go ahead and really just go ahead and put half a teaspoon for salt. And then I would do for pepper 1/4 of a teaspoon. I would start with that. And then once they get mixed up and everything, everybody can try. And if people want more salt or more pepper, once it gets divvied up into your containers, you can go ahead and add your own salt and pepper to taste. Some people like their potatoes more salty, more peppery than others. So I would just go ahead and go with half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper to start, and then each person can individually customize what they want. So for our measuring waiters, 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, that is going to just get counted out. You're just going to grab those. Those will go right onto the tray. Our 1 tablespoon of olive oil, we will need a tablespoon for that. And we will need a custard cup. We don't want that oil to spill all over, so make sure we bring a custard cup with us. The potatoes will already be pre-cut in a container ready to go, so we don't have to worry about that. 4 tablespoons of butter, that's going to be half a stick of butter. And that is something that we will just grab and put on the tray. And then 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Remember, because it is liquid, we will need a liquid measuring cup with us. Measure to the 4th cup line, and that can stay in that measuring cup on the tray. And then our teaspoon or our half a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, that can go into a custard cup together because we will add those things at the same time. So not too much on the measuring aspect and grabbing of ingredients. A lot of it is in the actual recipe itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and review that recipe and how we're going to make that. So first off, we are going to have our pots of water already up to a boil for you guys, just like when we did pasta salad. Remember, we will also then be setting it up for the period after. So that pot of water, once we get that cleaned up, we need to refill, and we'll start it when it's time to, like the last 10 minutes of class, so that it's up to a boil for the next group. Then we are going to already be taking care of number 2, the washing, peeling, and cutting of potatoes. So that will be done. So once that water is to a boil, we will go ahead and just add those cut potatoes to the boiling water. And we are going to be letting those potatoes cook for about a good 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. We should not be putting no lid on the pot of water. when those potatoes have been added. We don't want the water to boil over. So no lid should be going onto that pot. Okay. And we're just going to let them boil for that good 10 to 15 minutes. What we are going to be looking for our potatoes is what we call fork tender. So after that 10 minutes is up, you are going to go ahead and grab a couple of the potatoes. Okay, you're going to use a slotted spoon and you're going to grab a couple potatoes out of that boiling water. You are then going to take a fork and just see, does your fork easily go into the center of those cut potatoes? If the fork easily goes through the potato, that is what we consider fork tender. Our potatoes are cooked at that point, and we are going to go ahead and be able to drain them in our colander. If your fork does not easily just go right into that potato, that means we want to go ahead and let those potatoes cook a couple more minutes. And then we would recheck again for that fork tenderness. Once we reach that fork tenderness, we will go ahead and drain them in our colander. While the potatoes are being cooked, our assistant chef is going to be taking care of roasting our garlic. So we are going to go ahead and have a small skillet. We're going to add our olive oil and our garlic cloves. Okay, one big thing is you actually do not have to peel the garlic ahead of time. So you will go ahead and just put the entire clove of garlic in with the oil, and we're going to roast it over a nice medium heat. We're going to let it get nice and toasty brown and softened. And you're actually going to see as it's roasting, that outer peel is going to loosen and it will be easily just taken off once that garlic cools off. So that's why we actually don't need to go ahead and pre-peel it. And it also helps protect the inner part of the garlic from burning. So no peeling of the garlic, literally oil, garlic cloves in the pan, medium heat, and we're just letting it go. And we're going to just stir it. We're going to turn the garlic cloves over so all sides of the garlic are getting that nice roasting done. Once they have roasted good, okay, you're going to go ahead, take that peel off, and then you're going to put the garlic into just a small bowl. You can even just use a custard cup, and you're going to mash that garlic into a nice paste. Okay, I like to go ahead and just use a fork when I do this. The fork allows you to really mash it up good. And then at that point, that garlic is ready to go with your potatoes once your potatoes have been fully cooked and drained. Now, once those potatoes are finished cooking, we're going to drain all of that water out using a colander, just like when we cook pasta. Okay, colander in the sink, dump all of that hot water and potatoes out, let it drain. And then at that point, the cooked potatoes, okay, those are going to go into our pot. We're going to then add our mashed garlic. We're going to add our half a cup of butter. I would recommend cubing this up just with a butter knife so it melts quicker. And we're going to also add in our heavy cream. And then we are going to go ahead and mash it up. So we do not have potato mashers. Instead, you guys will go ahead and be using a hand mixer to go ahead and do that mashing. Okay, so that is definitely something we're going to want to put onto our equipment that we're going to be grabbing is the hand mixer. Once everything is mixed up, we can add our salt and pepper and just mix that in real quick. And then it is easy and ready to eat and serve up into our containers. Okay. So just to kind of go over with that lab plan, okay, that top part, that first column, that should be filled out with all of our ingredients. We know what things we need to measure and where it is going. Okay. What things need a custard cup, what things can go right on the tray. As far as equipment goes, okay, head chef, you are going to go ahead and have your pot of water already going, so that doesn't need to get grabbed. But head chef, kitchen equipment you are going to have to need to get is a slotted spoon. You're going to go ahead and need to get your skillet to roast your garlic in. You're going to need to grab a fork for you to mash your garlic. You're going to need to grab a second fork so that you can check your potatoes when they are fork tender. You're also going to want to get out a butter knife to cube up your butter when it gets back as well. Okay, so those are kind of all those different things that head chef you should be getting out while you're waiting for the ingredients to come back. Assistant chef, any equipment that's going to be up at the demo table. So, assistant chef, you are going to want to be grabbing the hand mixer. You are also going to want to be getting the colander that will be up at the kitchen demo table as well. So you have those things ready to go when you need them. Okay. Everything else you should be ready to get going with those potatoes being pre cut. It's really going to save you guys some time tomorrow. All right. So if you are head chef or assistant chef, do make sure you are checking your Compass schedule so that you know whether or not you are coming into Compass tomorrow so that you can get the pre peeling and cutting done. That's